Morals. And today we have our special guest, Chris Fury in the building.
Hey,
What's good, boys? What's up,
clap
fellas?
to make some noise for Chris.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, yeah, you're listening to My Friends and Me live. Make sure you like, share, comment, all that good stuff. What's up, JayR? How you feeling today, man?
Yeah, I'm doing beautiful, man. Another day on God's green earth, man. It's a blessing, you know what I'm saying? With everything that's going on around us, being able to wake up and see my kids, it's a beautiful thing, man. You know what I'm saying? So, Chris, how you been, my brother?
Everything is good, man. Just trying to figure this whole social distancing shit out and all these Zoom calls and FaceTimes and digital podcasts. Shit's kind of crazy.
Nah, yeah, I know. I've actually been doing a couple Zoom meetings myself for work, so I'm still kind of in the process of, getting into learning everything myself. And we were supposed to do this, and I wanted to do this personally, with the My Friends and Me podcast and everything we got going on. But due to quarantine and everything else going on, killer bees. So we got Wu-Tang Clan
That's
and
a new one.
But listen, so we got you up here. Obviously, I thought, me and Ty, we talked about it, and that personally, like, what I mean, I thought you, out of a face from Connecticut, a fellow brother from out here, you know what I'm saying? I thought you would be perfect for our first episode on this as a special guest. So we respect we respect what you do out here. Your name definitely, like, gets tossed around in a lot of good ways, you know what I'm saying? And for what you do as far as the music industry, and that's pretty much where I've got to learn you from TY doing the promoting thing. And so first off, we wanted to ask you a simple question, man. Your first question, man: who is Chris Fury? How did you get your start in the entertainment scene? Like, from the music to leading into the club life and everything just intertwining, you know what I mean? Like, what pushed you in that direction from the beginning?
And to me, and I was always a big fan of music. You know what I'm saying? But I was into sports, and I got into some legal shit, and I ended up like catching a lick. I drove by a radio station and filled out an application, and and like the rest was history for me. Like at that time, this is 1998, 99. I'm 18 years old, so 19 years old. It was just important for me to try and make my way in. So I just kind of became pretty good at a whole bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I never really, obviously management has probably been like the thing I've done the longest, but in this business, the only way to keep a job is by being able to offer a service. So for me, it was just constantly being able to offer a service, no matter what it is. You needed a flyer, you needed a DJ, you needed a rapper, you needed to book an artist, like whatever it is. I just tried to fill a gap. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So so it was really just by accident, bro. And then I loved it. Like I loved everything about it.
Nah,
That's dope.
For real. And what's crazy is that like when I was coming up, per se, when we were coming up, like we always tried to look and find like, yo, who's making moves and stuff like that, and who's really doing stuff. And Chris was always mentioned. Chris was always mentioned, you know what I mean? Like, and it's great. And like, honestly, like, let me ask you this, bro. Who's your influences? Like, who were your influences that kind of helped you, find your niche, being a manager slash
I don't know. I mean, like very, very early on, like originally it was KG, who was a big part of, what I started to do. DJ KG, obviously from Waterbury, like he really kind of was the first person to like believe in me. But then a lot of the guys at that station, like Richie Rich, who was CD Rich, Billy Bush at the time was there, Phenom at the time was there, Craig at the time was there. So like, I was around a lot of like OG legends early on, you know what I'm saying? And even on the like the, the release, the label or the music side of stuff, you know, I started hanging out with a lot of mixtape shops. Brett from Uptown Records and Waterbury was like a
Shout out to
huge
Brett.
influence.
Man.
Can't forget that, man.
Yeah, like a huge influence on me. So, you know, early on that, but once I got into the business per se, Angie was a big influence on me. Martinez, like at the time, Sean Pecos, who was her partner, who Pecos is now like, you know, the
Rock
GOAT.
Nation, right? Is he Rock
Yeah,
Nation?
like now he runs the sports part. He like conquered music and now runs sports. But you know,
wow.
him, Chris Lighty, who I, you know, did an internship for, even who now is Kodak Lens, you know what I'm saying? Who is
Lenny
you
S.
know, yeah, Lenny S. Like at the time, Lenny S. was a promotions director at Rockefeller, you know, and gave me an internship in 2001.
That's crazy.
You know,
Yo, so all right, so hold on real quick. Hold it right there for me, because like Lenny S, like, you know, I always study different managers and study different people. And him, Steve Stout, those are two people I kind of really studied. Like, just give us a quick story, not even a story, but like, how is Lenny as a person? Like, is he approachable? Because it's like he looks approachable. Is he or is he not?
Super approachable, even to this day, bro. Like, you know, not for nothing, like out of 10 times I text him, he replies back 5 times. But the fact that he's still to this day, like, and I don't really even hit him about no business shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and he still replies back. Like when I see him, it's love. And when I was, bro, he was so hungry. Like he came out of that era where like street promotion was like a thing, and his grind was like impeccable. You know, like I remember like getting to the office and he was there every time I got there and he was there every time I left. You know what I'm saying? And like when it came to putting the team together to like work towards a goal, I mean, bro, we were getting fined for promotional materials, like, you know, in Boston, New York City, New Jersey. And like Lenny would be like, bro, like, let's get a $75,000 fine tonight.
Wow. So
you know what I'm saying?
There,
like
he was out there on the hand and
yeah,
really,
hell yeah. He's been with them like since really the very beginning and kind of built from you know, a low part up, you know what I'm saying? And he's incredible.
Well, that's kind of dope, you know what I'm saying, in a sense, because it seems like, you know, just starting off in the beginning of this, you know, it sounds like a lot that happened to you kind of went down a path that happened like organically. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't something pushed. Like, it was just something that you kind of found, you know, and
almost all of it, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, and it just like it all kind of just happened for me, but it you know, from just trying to do as many things as possible and get where you fit in. It's not easy to get into business, and back then it really wasn't easy. Like there was, bro, like when I first started and like originally started, MP3s were not a thing. You couldn't send music via the internet.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, KG, when I was working for KG and we were working at 990, you had to get vinyl in order to get service. So, I would take the train to New York and I would sit outside of the labels at 7, 8 in the morning until 5, 6 in the afternoon until I ran into Puerto Rico Rob or I ran into one of the record breakers. And then they would give me the vinyl and then I would get KG on the mailing list. If you were a DJ and you were on the mailing list, you were important. It was hard at that time. You had to be like on commercial radio to get like because vinyl's expensive. You know what I'm saying? So they just weren't sending it to every DJ. So you know, 990 was an AM station. We weren't commercial radio. So like a lot of cats didn't want to give us the records. You know, so
I get it.
Yeah. And it comes from a time like, bro, back then you really had to build a relationship. You couldn't do shit via like text and like there was no social media. You know what I'm saying? So like I know these people because I was like with them at that time. And that I think that's what's allowed me to stay, you know, semi-relevant is like the FaceTime that you have with those people at an early age. Yo, I went to the record shop in Waterbury. This is 2000. Aaron, just downtown, Aaron had an old Def Jam bag. I buy the Def Jam bag. I used to take vinyl from the radio station, put it in the bag, take the train to the city. I used to go to the Tunnel. I used to go to Envy. I used to go to all these nightclubs. I walk up to the door and I say, yo, I work for Def Jam. You know what I'm saying? I got records. I got records. I'm here to bring them to Flex. I'm here to bring them to Envy. I'm here to bring them to Clue. Boom. 18, 19 years old, I'm running in these clubs with vinyl, like, and
Yo,
I would run up in there and just like sit next in the DJ booth, and no one would know who I was, but I had a Def Jam bag.
yo, facts.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
you know
So
what's
like,
crazy? That just reminds me of something, and that I really learned from you, bro. Is literally learning how to get in where you fit in. You feel me? Because we had to do that
anytime,
lot
bro.
with Luke and Fair. Like, you know, they say, okay, you can only get 5 people, but it's 8 of us. Yo, we gotta kind of sliver our way in. You know, we
Same
have
shit,
to.
but you
That's
became the
kinda
master at that too, though, Ty. Like over the years, like in Waterbury, if you had to get something done of that nature, you became the guy you would call, and if you couldn't do it, you just plugged. You know what I'm saying? So,
Absolutely.
and and it's important to do that in music because so much shit is based on favors. You can't pay, like if you were to try to pay for all the things you try to do, you'd never have enough bread. So
Right.
it's really based on favors, and the more you're able to offer, you know, the more favors that you can pull. You know, is really what it comes to.
So you've been doing this for quite a while. You know what I'm saying? You mentioned the year that you started all of this. So what motivates you to keep going? Like, what does this industry have done for you alone? Like, you know what I'm saying? I always see that you're helping somebody like elevate, you know, in their craft and everything that they got going on. And you know, it seems like you still have the interest in it inside of this industry. You know what I'm saying? So what motivates you in that sense to keep pushing?
I mean, one, I love to like to help other people. You know what I'm saying? And like,
Which is
and
always
like
that's a
that's
beautiful thing.
always for sure. And two, I don't know, you know, the music shit is like, it's frustrate me, it's shit on me, it's kicked me in the face, it's done like some incredible shit for me, you know what I'm saying? But I think the lore of it is like the dream to be stable and do what you love, you know, while like creating your own path. Like music has allowed me to dream, you know what I'm saying? Like, and become an entrepreneur and try and do other shit, you
Yeah.
know, and it also allows me, you know, even with my daughter, it's like I be busy and I'm gone, but when I'm home, I'm home. Like
Yeah.
if I were to tell you like, yo, if you just got to sacrifice 100 days a year, right? But the other 265, you're home with your wife, your kids, your mom, your dad. Like I know it suck. Those 100 days suck, but then you get 265 to just
It's worth
do
it. It's
you.
worth
You know what I'm saying?
it. Yeah.
So it's like I'm able to pick my daughter up from school and go to her practice and meet with the teachers at 11 in the morning, 9 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. You know what I'm saying? Like I can bring my girl shit to work, like lunch, and you know, so it
The little
allows me a
things
lot of
always the little things are always what's truly appreciated. You know what I'm saying?
the freedom, bro. The
Yeah,
freedom. I
sure.
miss stability, you know what I'm saying? But like the freedom to do what I need to do is really what's kept me motivated. And then the ultimate goal is just to like, you know, put people on, like create a path, help people create a path for themselves. Like it's gratifying when people do well. I mean, even y'all know, like, even if you're not personally doing it for them, but someone in your circle comes up, like, and you had something to do with that, that shit is gratifying.
Nah, facts. And yo, you know, so with you saying that, like it is gratifying. And I know me, like I tried to work with different artists and manage, but I always knew I wasn't a manager. You get what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
always knew like, hey, at some point in time, I could get us to a certain level, but at some point in time, we have to find somebody who's really in it to bridge with and work
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
A lot of people don't know artists have 3 and 4 managers. You
Yeah.
know,
I've
like,
had to do the same. Even now, I won't take on an artist solely as a manager. I want a partnership. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do it on yourself, you know, on your own anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Annoyed Web, like I have partners, you know, the last 5 or 6 artists that I've tried to work with I've all had partners.
word.
I rather, for me, I rather do that. Just it's hard to do it by yourself. And you know,
Teamwork makes
even
the dream work.
For
you know,
sure.
even with Mook and Fair, like listen, during their deal, a part of their deal, and I don't know if you probably do know, but I had to give a portion of management to D and Shadow
Yeah.
and Johnny. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
No,
So like,
so I want, well, we'll cover that later because I want to definitely touch on Mook and Fear. But I want to ask you while we're on this, like, so being a manager, what is the it factor? You know how people say like an artist is supposed to have the it factor. Like, what is in your Chris Fury's world, what is the it factor?
I don't know. For me, it's probably just not knowing it until I see it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't.
That's a great answer.
No, like listen, you can tell people up and down like what the package is and like what you need. You know what I'm saying? But like you just don't know it till you see it. You know what I'm saying? So like, and for me, every artist I've ever worked with, I've known about prior to and ignored it until it like fell on my lap. You know, like even going to Mook and Fair, like Sean came in my store with their demo and shit, their whole press kit. They sat down, boom, they left. Bro, I chucked the shit in the garbage. I didn't even listen. I didn't listen to it. And it wasn't a knock against them. At that time, I was road managing Paul Wall. I was feeling myself. I owned my store. Like Sean was a customer. Boom. So anyways, I get back off tour with Paul. I realize that shit is kind of coming to an end because his hotness is gone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And K-Dub calls me and he's like, yo, I'm doing this show in East Hartford near the river for some, you know, K-Dub is just running this. Him and Big Man used to do that local talent stuff.
Him. Yeah.
Bro, I pop up. I'm 3 days off tour. I'm saying what up to Dub. Dub is like, bro, sit with me right here. Watch these next two kids. They're incredible. They got records. They perform. Boom. Who comes out? Fucking all I hear is fire, fire, fire. I hear Mook and Fair. I'm like, yo, those are the fucking two kids that were just at my store fucking 4 months ago. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and you know what's crazy is we had a plan, and a lot of people don't know this. And artists, if you're tuning in, definitely take this. Like, Mook and Fair moved with a movement. We had a movement of people. But when it was time for Mook and Fair to perform, Mook and Fair was on the stage and we were all in the crowd.
Yeah.
We were all in the crowd.
Homies,
we weren't
bro,
around Mook and Fair like that.
The homies sacrificed, bro. Like the homies weren't trying to be a part of the entourage. The homies were like enjoying life and being fans of what was going on in front of them. You know what I'm saying? And that used to be it. Like them 10, 8, 12, 13 people rocking would make the rest of the crowd move, and the interest.
And it's crazy. I feel like a lot of people, and that's kind of like part of, you know what I mean, what a lot of like, you know, you call them the entourage or whatever the case may be, like, you know what I'm saying, but I feel like they miss that now, like, you know what I mean, like I feel like like everybody wants to play an important role and they have to look a certain way, so you know they're not like me personally. It's like I'm fine if I'm here and I'm riding with someone for a specific reason. I'm gonna do what it takes to make sure that he's getting, you know, he's looking the part. He is the part. I'm helping him become the part. I'm rocking with him. He got all my support. Like, you feel me? Because as a team player, that's how it should be. You know, we're all trying to help. If we're, you know what I'm saying? If you use my back for a step, you can step on my back to get to the next one, as well as the next friend to the next friend. You know, it's a chain.
Yeah, I'll say that about that particular crew, bro. They were selfish. Like, as long as they felt they were being treated equal by myself and everyone else in the crew, it wasn't about bread. It wasn't about who was shining. It was just about them, like, feeling like they were important for what they brought to the table. And like, you know, not everybody always agreed on that, but like, it was always only just about like respect and feeling that way. You know what I'm saying? So it was a cool thing, man.
I think definitely for sure respect is always like gonna be, you know, one of the biggest things that's
listen, Annoyed fell on my lap the same way. Annoyed, boom, Paces hit me up. I'm like, cool. Never even really listened. Then he ends up opening for Webb at like this Chance the Rapper Webb and at CCSU. And Annoyed was the opener and Paces there. So I got to hear Annoyed rap. And I was like, okay, dope. Like, he can rap, like, cool. And I still didn't pay attention. And then I was on the road. I came home and I'm hearing this record, this Liquor Stains record on the radio. Like,
I remember when I first heard it too.
4 weeks. And I'm like, who the fuck is this? And I Shazam it. And it was Annoyed. Bro, I called Pace immediately and was like, yo, put me on a team, bro. Like, I'm in. You know, even Webb. Webb, I've known Webb for forever. Dana was, you know,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
known him since super early. Like he was like a intern during the Mook and Fair days. Like I kind of never got it, didn't pay attention to Webb, like building. And then a few years later, he hits me and I'm like, damn, this shit is incredible. I'm in, like, so all that shit kind of falls in the lap, bro. Like, I just feel like it's in the eye of the beholder, but the beholder has to know that there's an upside.
Yeah, facts.
Like, I think a big part of me, the reason I'm liked and disliked is because I understand there's an upside and a downside, and I get it. And, people always think I'm about the business, but bro, the reason I've been pretty successful is because I do a good job at realizing the business, but protecting the art form for the artists.
Facts. You answered.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you answered one of my questions, and it was my question. Literally was like, why do people feel as though Chris Fury is hard to work with? And I tell you why, bro. Because I get the same thing. And it sometimes it's like mind-boggling. It's like, yo, Ty is a hard person to work with. He's difficult to work with. But in my head, I'm like, hey, I know certain things. I research, I study, I put in the work. And like, I'm an honest person. I'm decent. I don't do no shady stuff. It's just like, but I understand business has to be met first. If we're all trying to get business has to be met.
It does. And that's my point, is that I can believe in something wholeheartedly, but even though my belief doesn't make these things happen. I mean, it allows me to push, and it allows me to do my job. You know what I'm saying? But like, my belief alone or the music alone it's never been enough, and it's still not enough. And like, I've worked with a handful of artists that I've helped build up, like, and get to a successful point. Like, superstar point, no, but a successful point, yes. But I've also worked for artists that, like, I just hopped on a team of a multi-platinum rapper, and I was a part of it, So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, it's very difficult. Number one, my communication isn't always the best, and TY, but I'll admit it. You know what I'm saying?
You have to put people in place for that, though, right? Am I correct?
I do. For sure I do, and I have in the past, but it's just much harder than it looks. Like, like, and again, too, like, I'm a father, like, I'm with my daughter a lot. Like, I do a lot of stuff outside of music. So I really just be busy. So like, my communication isn't like a lack of respect or like not understanding what it is. Sometimes it's just, I'm fucking just busy.
100 days, 265 days. You said it right there. You know what I'm saying?
But even when I'm home, it's like, bro, like, I have properties, like I have family, like I have other businesses, like I have a ton of shit going on, So, but besides that too, and I just think I love to address this just because, like, I feel like, listen, there's a lot of good that goes around about me, and there's a lot of bad, and some of it I deserve. Like, I've done some dumb shit in my life, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? But on the other side of that, bro, like, a lot of it comes from being like artists not understanding the way things work and having like an unrealistic expectation, or like, if I'll give you an instance. I had an artist freaking out on me. They paid for a program for WorldStar, right? They pay $1,800. I pay WorldStar. I make $0. I'm doing this as a favor. I get a deal. I get like $200 off a video at the time, right? The artist then buys bot views to his WorldStar premiered video. Okay. The dude pulls the video. This is Q at the time.
Yeah,
because he was a homie, right? RIP. Pulls the video, says, yo, tell homie his other 2 videos not going up, and he's not getting his $1,800 back. We don't do that fake shit. We don't allow bots. You can't buy no fucking programs. That dude then goes on Facebook and tells the world that I stole $1,800 from him.
Oh man, yo, the manager is that manager / playmaker position is very
brutal.
Fine line,
brutal.
Bro.
I mean, I know at times it gotta make you feel like, you don't like. I mean, at some point it's kind of like it makes you feel like at some point you don't even want to take that risk anymore.
Bruh, people hire me to be the asshole. Like, it's no secret.
You're absolutely right. And I just want to say this for artists out there that are in, you know, if you are artists and you are tuning into this, you have to understand that about managers. Like, you know, if especially when you have a good manager, they're gonna allow you to be the fall guy. That doesn't mean like, yo, you know, you put unnecessary stress or unnecessary failures on them. That's not the case. But a manager is there, and I tell Brianna this all the time. Like, a manager's there to be your middleman. You know what I mean? To work with and to help bridge those relationships so you can focus on being an artist. But with that, also, you have to trust. If you hire a manager, you need to
And
trust.
that's the most
Believe
important
in your
thing.
manager.
You know what
Serious.
I'm saying? I feel like a lot
100%.
of these artists don't really have that trust in the managers that they choose now. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
and it's tough, but it you know, but you have like, yo, if they can't, I mean, and vice versa, you know, like any guys I've been successful with, like, you know, it's been a 50-50 thing. It's been more of a partnership than like an artist client thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to have that trust. But bro, we become like being a middleman in anything, you kind of become the punching bag. Like for instance, like, you know, your homie hits you right now and it's like, bro, you know anybody who's selling any cars? And you're like, yeah, my man got a car. And yo, call him. Boom. Calls the dude up, buys the car breaks down. Who's the dickhead? You're the
Yeah.
dickhead. You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
don't want
So
to
it's
shy
like,
away. I don't want to shy away from and not to cut you off. I'm sorry, but I
no,
didn't
go
want
ahead.
to shy away from my next question because it came up, you know, as you were saying. So you have worked with Chris Webb, you have worked with Mook and Fair, you have worked with Annoyed. Which artist do you think you've had more success with, like the most success with, I should say?
I mean, probably Webb, you know, like for sure. But like Webb he had already built something before I came on board. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like I really just like became vitamins on the food, you know what I'm saying? Or
All right.
steroids, like whatever it was. Mook and Fair was special because like we did that shit like
It seemed
by
like you guys. It seemed like
ourselves.
you guys grinded for it, like
No,
bottom
from
to
the
top.
very beginning. And Webb has done the same. I just didn't experience that early part of it with him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, you know, 11, 12, 13 years ago when he was like, you know, I didn't experience that part. Like with Mook and Fair, like, yeah, they built a little buzz in Waterbury, but we really like, I came in on the ground floor kind of with them. And so that was special. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Annoyed 2 could be the most special of all. Like the chapter is still being written, you know, like I'd say it's a little bit of the Mook and Fair situation where I came in early, but not like super early.
Yeah.
But it's also a part of the Web situation where like I came in to like have a really great partner and like someone who works hard with me. So it's a great situation. And like the growth in him is incredible. And I would say like the upside in him is like the upside could be, you know, sky's the limit for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, yeah, I could definitely tell that just like looking from my perspective as just a fan, because Annoy's work, you know, without question, like I definitely respect his pen and I respect his grind for sure, man. You know what I mean?
He's super talented.
And who is he officially signed to? So he signed a Pace with another production deal?
No, he's now signed to like Pace and Webby.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
That's dope.
Webb created a label, and got like an amazing distribution deal. And Webb has full label services. I'm talking about like DSPs, distribution, metadata, you know, publishing, administration. Yeah, like
wow.
so law. So he's hired like a full service team. I have a like full-time 10-person team now. Like Webb's really built some incredible shit. So we gave Annoyed a deal. The deal is cool. Like it's really like Annoyed is super independent. He's his own fucking boss. He gets his own money. He creates his own money stream. Like he's responsible for his path. He owns all his masters. Like Webb's deals are not like, let's just put you on. They're like, let's set you up and make this a career for you and like give you the freedom to do what you. So like it's more of a partnership than anything. You know what I'm saying?
That's beautiful, man.
Nah, that's dope.
No, it's cool. Webb is trying to create like a cool system. Like on some Connecticut shit, you know. So, and he employs a ton of people from Connecticut, which is super cool as well.
That's dope. I need to holler at Webb. I might need a job. COVID.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Trying to keep me focused in this quarantine.
Man, listen, I'm the best stage manager.
Annoyed had left. Annoyed was on Empire. He was on Empire, and we left Empire. And
okay, so he was. I thought because that's where I was a little confused because I thought he was.
Yeah, we did a deal with Empire. Yeah, we did a deal with Empire. It was
Empire. Chris Ghazi.
Ghazi. Yeah. He's incredible, man. But you know, like anything else, dude. Like when you're in like a big system, and Empire's a really big indie system. Yeah, you know, the top guys get attention and the other guys don't.
Yeah.
You know, so but it was cool, like for what it was, and it was great. And Ghazi gave us a great opportunity, and you know, and we also when we left, we just got to leave.
Facts. That's always the best when you don't got nobody trying to tie you down.
Nah, so, you know.
Go ahead.
No, gave us the music back and we were out.
Oh, word, dope. So are you considered like a free agent, willing to work or able to work with anybody, or are you kind of like just dedicated to one team? You know what I mean?
I mean, if I wanted to, I could.
Okay.
But like the situation,
are you able?
Yeah, I'm able to for sure. You know, but the situation that Webb has created for me personally is incredible. You know what I'm saying? So in order for me to grab onto something else, you know, it would take a lot. I mean, I started to work with Cinematic and the Smokers Club, you know what I'm saying, which is super cool, but
for real,
it would take a lot for me to like take something else on.
Well, that was kind of part of my next question because I was going to ask a follow-up question to that, and I was going to say, are you currently looking for any artists?
I'm always looking, but not ever looking. You know what I'm saying? Like it,
Jim.
You know, it just has to happen. Like if I see some shit, like there's a couple of cats now that I really like in Connecticut, and like when they're ready, I would love to latch onto it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm helping there's a dude from Waterbury that I'm trying to help out now, but I'm more taking like a consulting route where like, because that's the other part too is, you know, a long time ago, again, being the middle guy, like I made a lot of promises and I you know, spread myself thin. Yeah. So like, so now like I tend to be with artists like, look, I can't manage you. I can't do X, Y, and Z, but I can do this and I can help you and I can make you sufficient. And I've also came to the point now where I don't really play middleman anymore. It's like I plug like A and B and y'all do your shit. Like I don't want no part of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's I want now, like when I used to try and hold those contacts, that was a different day. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's like I rather give those up and allow people to build. I don't want them to need me forever.
Nah. Yeah, for sure.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? So,
nah, you're absolutely right, bro. Because an artist, like, you're supposed to learn from each other. Like, you know, if you're an artist, you're supposed to like, if you have somebody, a manager that's guiding you, you should be willing to learn from them. Because, you know, what I found in my travels over the years and the people I've had to deal with, famously the kid that dissed the radio, is just that when you get to a
me, he dissed me too.
Oh yeah, he definitely did diss you. But but the thing is, like, you have to learn, like, bro, not for nothing. When I started with Mook and Fear, I didn't know how to engineer records. I didn't know how to make flyers. I didn't know where to put flyers out at. When this kid started with me, it was the same thing. And it's just like, you have to be willing to learn from the people that you put around you to guide you. You know what I mean? If you can't learn from the people around you, first off, you shouldn't be the smartest one at the table. But if you can't learn from the people around you, you need to really like look at that and figure out how you fix that, because that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's kind of just like, all right, even knowing, you know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes you may know something and you think you've learned all there is to know about it until you listen to somebody and they give you a different perspective on the same topic, and you're still learning through that process.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I think being able to learn first and foremost is just like, you know, it separates you, because now you're with, along with learning still, it's only, you're just gonna grow from that. You know what I
No,
mean?
I agree.
So
I still learn every day, bro. I'm pretty knowledgeable, but it's because I suck in a lot of information from a lot of different people, and I pay attention and I stay hip to what's going on. But not only that, like, you be like, listen, I know mad shit about publishing, right? Like, I know a lot more than the average person in music. And Webb like hires these two people, a female and male, like a lawyer who does publishing and she does administration and shit. And I realized like I didn't know shit. Like, you know, and this is like within the last year. I've learned more in the last year of my life, digitally and musically, and the way things work now, than I learned my prior 5 years. You know what I'm
That's
saying? Like, yeah, bro. Like, I mean, you just have to pay attention. And the other part too is like, you can't learn from people who don't know what they're talking about or haven't learned from experience. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
So it's like, when you have these conversations with people who really do this, like, you can really learn, you know?
fact. Nah, facts.
But that's my frustration too, bro, is just like, my frustration too, and just in general, is like dealing with a bunch of shit because people don't get it, and
Yeah,
then I become defensive because people don't understand it, and sometimes I feel like I get attacked and I can't even explain it, because it's almost impossible to just like sit down and explain this shit.
yeah, no,
It's
absolutely.
almost like when you're
Especially explaining it to somebody who doesn't have the want to learn it all. You know what I
bro,
mean?
think about this. When you were promoting parties and like, you know, you got a little label and you're doing X, Y, and Z, and someone said to you, yo, so like, what do you do for a living? Like, how the fuck did you describe that? You
Bro,
can't even
my mind,
describe what we do for a living, bro. Like, it's like, oh, I'm a
everything.
manager. So like, what's a manager do? Like, oh, you don't. I can't even tell you what oh, I promote parties. Oh, so like, you just have fun. Like, you can't even explain to someone what we do for a living, bro.
No,
How
you
No,
can't.
crazy is
true.
that? It's one of the biggest industries in the world, and you can't even explain to the average person so they can understand like what we do for a living.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's crazy. So let me ask you this: like, what do you think is the most important quality that a manager or someone like us must have, dealing with all the levels, the ups, the downs, the criticism, the artist wanting to be, you know, right all the time? Like, what is a great quality that each person
I
must
don't
have,
know.
manager
The
wise?
ability to adapt, I guess. I think,
Got it.
Mm.
you know, like,
Yeah.
because you serve so many roles and do so many things, you know, with so many like, you know, within music, you from one day you might be walking in to an older white dude who's a club owner or a label guy, and then the next day you're meeting with the guy who wants to invest 25K, who's from the bad part of town. You dig? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
one minute it's a college graduate, and the next minute it's a high school dropout. It's The music business is filled with such an overturn of different people. Unlike other professions, you like hone your skill for that thing, go to school for that thing. You can't do that in music. So I just think that most success, whether they're artists or engineers or producers, is guys who adapt, you know, like, and that can be a chameleon in this shit and kind of get along and like tightrope the line. Because so much of the music business is like survival, you know? So like, you got to walk that line and be able to adapt. And again, why I'm still relevant, I'm older, I'm still here. A lot of people aren't, and it's because I'm able to adapt. I get
Absolutely.
it. Like, I come from the old school and I love that rap shit, but I also understand the new shit and I get it. I may not like it, but I get it.
Yeah.
So in this time period, you know, in this frame, obviously we're going through different times. You know, and you've been around for quite a while, like, you know, and so my next question will probably be like, do you feel as though like you've leveled up in this, like in this
Yeah.
game, like, you know what I mean? Like, I know some people who's been doing this for a while, like, you know, their name is probably there, but they're kind of stuck in the same spot. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're known for what they
That was
do,
me.
you know. But I mean, like, just being able to talk to you now, it seems like, you know, after we talked about the Chris Webby, um you know, on the new projects and everything that you're into now, you know, with what you're doing on outside of music itself, it seems like you're
I'm in
pretty
the
more
best space of
established. Like, you
my
know,
life. Yeah, leveled up 100 times. And
Wow.
I think a lot of your career in music is like chasing the ultimate goal, and it's very hard to obtain that goal. So like, you know, I've been 1 foot in and 1 foot out my whole career. You understand? Like, I've been like on the line of being like super rich and like very well known, probably a half a dozen times. And at the same time, I had that same foot in like the average Joe local, you know, and the other part too is that like so many people don't understand all of the things that I've done and who I've worked for. So it's like, you know, even a lot of these new guys, like they may hear stuff about artists, but I guarantee you none of them knew I interned for Lenny S or I interned at Daddy's house. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
this was all even new, like just being, but see, this is why this was so important though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
like,
yeah.
because you got a lot of new school guys that are coming in. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've met you, you know, when I was with TY, you know, doing the club promoting thing. And I was making music in the past. And I think I even reached out to you a couple times, but I knew your situation already and how busy you were doing things. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think I knew entirely what role you played in this industry. Like, I don't think, you know what I mean? I didn't have to have the full gist of the service that you gave. So that's why it was
Yeah.
always like, you know, Chris Fury, Chris
Bro,
Fury, Chris
I've
Fury.
done some wild
But
shit, dude. Listen, I passed out flyers like with Prodigy and Havoc and Big Noid and Tragic Cadet. Like, yo, they used to run around the civic centers with me and pass out flyers, bro.
Facts.
Like,
Facts.
you know what I'm like?
Crazy.
You know, I've done some wild shit, you know? So, like, I feel like a lot of people don't know that part because it happened so long ago, you know? Like, and the other part is a lot of people just have a hard time, like, grasping on to, like, a dude from our area being, like, successful. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
that's true. And that is
Bro,
entirely.
bro, I listen to me. I used to SkyTel two-way page with Scooter Braun, bro.
That's
Like,
crazy. So
when he was a nobody.
right? Is he from Connecticut?
Yeah, yes. Yes, he's
That's
from
crazy.
Greenwich. Like, I've known that dude for so long. Like, you know, so it's just like, I don't know. I've been doing this a long time. So, like, for me, like,
Yeah.
it's just it's important for people to know that type of shit. So level up, yeah, like, and I'll say, like, bro, Webb is responsible for my level up.
That's what's up.
And
You
that's
know what I'm
beautiful
saying?
because I mean you're able to give him his flowers, you know, while you're still here and he's still here. So that's, you know,
Yeah,
a
and it's
great thing.
important because I've worked for so many guys where, like, again, I was not able to get there, and it's not just me. A lot of people on his team have leveled up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, but I've never really also been like a part of a team like his. You know, even our team back in the day, TY, like, it was flawed because there was one.
Super
I mean,
flawed.
it was like one chief who didn't even let us be Indians. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, so like
that's funny you say that though, because like Mook and Fair, like our dynamic was different. Like we were really just really trying to get out. Like there was no other plan. The only plan was to get out of the situations our families were in, and that
yeah,
was it. That was the
real
only
shit.
plan they are. Like it was crazy.
Real shit. I mean, even in that situation, bro, like, as much as I was family with all of y'all, I was still the outsider.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You done had fights and stuff with people on the
Yeah.
team.
Yeah,
Like,
motherfuckers.
that's crazy.
Yo,
Yo,
Dame,
so one thing.
man, RIP, Dame trying to take my head, Blackheart trying to take my head off.
Yeah. Black,
You know what I'm saying?
Black,
So,
shout out to
nah,
Blackheart doing this battling stuff, man.
man, I love, yo, I still to this day think Blackheart is like one of the most talented human beings on earth.
Yeah, nah, absolutely, yo,
So,
absolutely. Nah, so I want to two more things, and then we'll kind of like wrap it up. One, I just wanted to know what the current culture in Connecticut right now, with some artists kind of starting to see peaks. What it seems like,
yeah.
blogs are starting to pick more artists up on their own now. Where it seems
Yep.
like there's more creatives getting involved. Like, where do you see our trajectory in like 5 years? Do you think we'll be able to like scale the creativeness that's going on in the
I do.
community?
I do.
Oh,
I really do. Now more than ever, again, the digital age and the way things work now, it now allows certain types of artists to be more successful. You know what I'm saying? And I
For
think that,
sure. For sure.
like, we talk about how some of this music and shit is like dumbed down and these kids are dumb. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
they're pretty fucking intelligent and savvy in different senses.
Super,
Mm.
super.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's some really dope talent. I think that a lot of these young kids don't have like a bitter, like something they're carrying on their soul, on their shoulder. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I
yeah,
feel
for
like,
sure. And that is something. Yeah, like I would like to address that because there was a lot of the new generation. I will say that you're right. Like they don't have, I would say, like the best skill set as far as what they're talking about, or like they're not really. They didn't really come from that era, so it's completely different from them. But I will say that they're knowledgeable. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And the way that they're able to like record themselves and kind of do their own production in a sense, it's kind of like it's a one-man band
no,
situation, and they take
it
themselves to
is.
that peak. So it's
No,
it's it's pretty
it,
incredible in a sense.
it is. And then even, with just like in general, the streaming has allowed artists in general, you can pop and not even pop, but be rich and don't even know about you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
for real.
it can literally, like nobody, like an algorithm or the people can literally turn someone into something overnight with streaming. Like comparatively before, you had to like build a record and spend months and months
Yeah.
and a year,
Yeah.
like now you could put a record out and be trending in 10 days and have,
Oh, right.
5 million streams. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
So it's like,
Crazy.
I tell a story all the time, like the power of streaming now. Like this is the difference. We were in Oslo, Norway, dude, last year, like August, September. This chunky white kid comes in. He buys $800 worth of worth of web merch, which is like $100,000 krones, like 100,000 krones, right? But like
Yeah.
$800. So normally in the US, whenever a kid does that, he's like a diehard web fan. He's been there forever, right? So I say, "You speak English?" And he says, "Yeah." And I said, "How long you been a web fan?" He looked at his watch and said, 5 hours. I said, "What?" I said, "What?" He said, "Listen, I got out of school today. I was suggested Chris Webby Raw Thoughts on a playlist. I played it." He said, "I spent the last 4 hours listening to his whole catalog." Like, he's like, "I'm still not done yet," right? He said, "I happen to look at the Spotify page and it says he's on tour in my city." He's like, "So I went online, I bought a ticket, and I'm here." I said, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Like that's not even that's crazy.
Yo,
Crazy.
it's
Almost
crazy.
unreal. Like,
And when we go to like in Europe, I was doing merch, right? Because I had to do both because we couldn't bring everybody. And I'm talking to the fans. How did you hear a web? Bro, it was like 65% Spotify, maybe 25% YouTube, and then like 10% of like Facebook and like maybe SoundCloud. Like it was all Spotify. Spotify is like, dude, they got 500 million users. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's damn near an eighth of the world's population.
That's crazy.
that's
So,
crazy.
so
That is insane.
with Spotify being as strong, let me ask you this. I remember before a few years back, man, maybe about 5 years, you could get your mixtape, you could get your project circulated for about $10,000. Like I remember you famously telling me that, like, yo, listen, dude, you need 10,000 to circulate it everywhere. Is that still the same case, or is it less? Like you and not to cut you off, but so I could fully explain this. We all know that everyone can have an Old Town Road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Quote unquote. Although he did have a little help, but quote unquote, everyone could have that. Hey, I brought a record for $35. I put it out there. It was viral. That could happen. But if you're planning and you're investing in your career, is it still that $10,000 mark could kind of get you on all platforms per se?
I mean, like, all right, if you really want to like make a dent and give yourself that shot, like, yeah, you still gotta spend the 10, but you spend it much different. Number one.
Okay.
The second part is you can also do it spending the 10. Like, your chances are way better now. Like, you can legit spend 3 to 5 and give yourself a real shot. Whereas before, like, if you didn't spend 10, you ain't even give yourself, you know, a 10% shot.
No, yeah, you didn't. Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's
So like now, like, if your record gets in front of enough people on any one of these platforms, it gives you like a 30-40% shot in like getting a phone call.
nah, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if your record gets 1 million streams in 2 weeks, bro, like, somebody's calling.
Somebody's calling you.
Yeah.
Somebody's calling.
Real shit. Like,
Nah,
somebody's calling
fact.
you, and it's like, and that's happening more and more just because there's so many people attached to streaming platforms. Like, when you're talking about, like, all right, if you take Spotify, Amazon, Google, Tidal, like, all these platforms, you're talking about over 1 billion users.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like 1% of 1 billion can make you rich for life.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I mean, not even 1%. Like,
that's crazy.
For fuck's sake, like 0.03% can make you rich.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I just think you're put in front of
is
bigger audiences now. Like, before, they had to look for you to find you. Now most artists are found by accident.
Got you.
You know, like, you used to go to the store and buy a CD, or go to iTunes and download what you were looking for. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then all of a sudden, music started to be shoved on you and like put in front of you by accident, like with playlisting and streaming and Pandora. And
I mean,
like,
and that even goes. I'm sorry not to cut you off. That even goes with social media. Sometimes you can just be scrolling down your regular page and you see
just
a sponsor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I mean,
that's the wave we're in. That's the wave we're in. So I'd say it's easier, and it's also way easier to, again, there's TY, and you know this, there's 10,000 artists that are making $1 million plus a year doing what they love for a living, and nobody knows them.
Absolutely.
You understand? So it's easier than ever to be rich off this shit and make this a real career and still be able to go, to the mall and to the store.
Yeah, man, I tell you one thing: if you're an artist and you want to study somebody, study Tech Nine. And what's his manager's name? Is
incredible.
It Travis?
Travis. Incredible.
Yeah. Travis, he used to own like a furniture store or something, right? He used to own like a furniture store and then got out of that and got into the logistics with Tech Nine. And like,
they're incredible. I mean, even you look at, listen, there's a few artists in Connecticut that are making $1 million plus a year. and I'd say those 3 artists are probably the less talked about within our like urban circle of music in Connecticut than anybody else. And they're making the most money.
Well, do you have those 3 to share with us so the world to know?
I mean, Webb, Felly, and Whit Lowry.
Yeah. Yo, it's crazy.
What was the last one? Who was the last one?
Whit Lowry.
Oh, okay.
Whit Lowry.
So,
like those in Apathy too, but Apathy is like a given because he's been doing this shit forever.
It's crazy too because like Whit was one of the first people, like, and I mean Felly was doing shows and stuff like that too, but Whit was like the first person I seen outside of Webb that had like his own tour all across everywhere, like, and Squares was with him. I'm like, bro, you guys are like,
it's like what happened. It was everywhere. He like opened for Webb. We called him to open for Webb in Danbury when we did that toy drive like a few years in a row, and then like, within a year, the kid was in Europe, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? And I'm looking at his numbers. The kid's got 100 million streams. I'm just like, what the fuck?
And
like,
and you can mention him in the urban circles, and this is somebody I don't think he barely gets played. He probably never got played on 93.7.
And that's kind of like why I think that's kind of why, like, even with Felly, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'll be honest,
crushing it, bro. That dude's at 2 million monthly users. Do you understand? Like, let me give you an idea. If you own your content and you're completely indie and you own 100% of your masters, right? And you have, just say, like an 80-20 split. Felly's on pace to do 100 million streams this year. You can make between 7 and 10,000 per million streams. So if he does 100 million streams, do the math.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like 2 million monthly users, bro. That's like Tech9 got 2.7. Like Hobson got 1.7. There's mad famous rappers that you listen to every day that got less than 1 million. Webby got 1.4, 1.5. Like that's so many listeners. Like, that's 1.5 million people listening to your music per month.
So what I really like, we're gonna start to wrap it up, like quick 10 minutes. Felly, just bridging off of that a little bit. I sent you that list. We put out like our top 12 artists that we felt like that were rising, and we knew someone was gonna get backlash. We understand it, whatever. I just want to, I think it's legit. Like,
we kind of like, kind of put it together, and with the names that we talked about, and the kind of list that we ran down. TY, on his time came back with the actual list. So we had rough copies and things like that, but TY, he put the list together, and that, to me, I couldn't have made it, any better. And the thing about it is, I think that's, as you guys were saying, in the urban areas, you know what I mean? Everybody wouldn't agree with it. But my thing is, that's not the only place that holds weight.
I say it all.
Obviously.
No, it's not. It's not. It's what we hear the most, but it's not. I had this debate about the Who's Your Daddy record, and it's like, yeah, like in the urban community, it wasn't a huge record. Like, but in another community, it was a huge fucking record. So it's like, you can't dictate who your fans are. It's like, you can go after a fan, but a fan's going to become a fan, no matter what it is. So it's like, you can't pick and choose who loves you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
you know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
Dude,
I do like the list. I like the list a lot. There's a couple of guys that I really like that aren't on there, but
absolutely, me too.
But I wouldn't really necessarily take anybody off that list.
Absolutely. And you know what's crazy, Chris? Honestly, like you guys know, I work with Brianna. She has a special situation going on right now. Matter of fact, I will link and talk more about it, but she has a special situation going on right now. And I know, honestly, bro, she's the best person in Connecticut. She's not on the list. You feel me? Like,
right.
There was no bias, nothing. It was just like looking at everybody's stats. There's people like Felly that people don't even know is from Connecticut. Yo, he went to college at USC and made a way. You know what I mean? There's also people like Bennett, bro. Bennett is, to me, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think she is the best singer
She's
that
incredible.
I've heard in Connecticut in a long time.
Yo, and like Webb is who really helped propel that girl. Like, Webb was putting that girl on hooks when nobody knew who she was. Like, like very, and now she's messing with Lyrical Lemonade and them. Like, most people, and she's from like some weird, I don't even know, Marlboro or like some weird town.
Yeah, she's out there, like,
way in the fucking woods, like, and she's incredible, bro. Like,
yeah, shout out to Chris Webby, man, for real, man, because it seems like he's working a lot behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying, man? So big shout out to him and everything he got going on, man.
What's tatted on Chris Webby's neck right here, bro?
Just Connecticut right across his neck. I mean, the kid, he really does love like where he's from, bro, and he wouldn't change this shit for nothing. Like, that kid truly, minus everything or ever how you feel about him, he truly loves like the state of Connecticut. Like, he loves how he grew up. He loves the area. He loves the beaches. Like, the kid loves where he's from. I can't say it any different. Like, He just
Hey man,
does.
me personally, I don't ever felt like Connecticut was the issue. You know what I mean?
Nah, I mean,
Like,
it's like this in a lot of places. The difference is we're just small. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like it's just
Yeah,
very small.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it looks worse than it is. But it's like this everywhere. But in other areas there's more room to breathe.
for
So,
sure, for
but yeah,
sure.
man, the list is super dope. There's a lot. There's more talent now, like coming up, like than I've seen here in a long time.
Yeah,
Like
honestly,
there's a ton of it.
I feel the
Like
same
you
way.
could have put a list with 25 guys on there.
Yo, and that was the thing, because I know we got a lot of backlash, and a lot of people, that have some smart remarks and things like that. But it's like, listen, there's no, this isn't to discredit anybody in their craft or anything that they have going on. You know what I mean? This is just something that we've put together and what we personally feel. You know what I'm saying? But also,
Yeah.
you wouldn't even interacted with us about this specific topic if we didn't make this list. You know what I mean? So
No, right. No, that's the point.
this is what brings everybody and gets us all involved. So this is why we started that and did that.
No, absolutely,
No,
absolutely.
I agree. And that's a big part of CT, bro. There's a lot of diversity, like that's one part I love about where we're from is like you get to experience some rich shit, some poor shit, some hood shit,
Yeah,
some middle ground shit, some
absolutely.
regular shit.
And the
It's
crazy
a little
thing
bit
is,
of
like, it
everything.
doesn't matter which area you're from. We all been to every one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we've
Yeah,
all
yeah.
been to
No, real
every
shit.
one.
And one thing that I'm super proud of Connecticut, and I do have to say this, is all the creatives. Like, like there's so many different creatives, like maybe too many for me to even name, but like Bridgeport, Hartford, New Haven, especially the females, they've been creating content and really
Bro,
like Rye Jones,
it's amazing now.
Rye,
It's amazing. It's like it wasn't like that years ago, bro. Like it's really, really dope. Like to see people make their way and like whether it's on some art stuff or some hosting stuff or some digital stuff, like there's a lot of people doing some really cool shit out here, bro. And it's exciting to see for sure. Like
absolutely.
exciting.
I don't want to, and we don't want to take too much more of your time. I just, we have just one more question, and this personally, I wanted to make sure we touch this topic because I have a son as well. You know what I mean? He's 5 years old, and the time that I give him, and that's a part of the reason why, like, I think at a certain part of my life, I can never give music everything that I wanted to because I think fatherhood kind of like grew as a bigger picture of my life. But how has that changed you in a sense, like developing in all of this? Like, I know you still the 100 to 265 days. Like, do you feel as though there was morals that you seen reflect from the
Yeah.
relationship you have with him onto yourself again that you once forgot about? Because I know, like,
Yeah.
and that's and it's just like, it's like, even dealing with this quarantine, I kind of feel like there was a lot of self-reflection and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But having a kid does that to you, prior to all of this. So
No.
I mean, explain that a little bit, like,
I think my daughter changed a lot. Number one, everything that I did after her had to have a purpose. Like I used to do a lot of shit for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to go out to the clubs and be in the clubs, and damn, we didn't get to talk about the promoter shit because I came up early. Y'all were like, I was doing this shit. You guys were super young.
Last one, bro. That was
all right. No, okay. So we'll get there. But no, but my daughter, she's changed that shit for me. So like now I do things for a reason with a purpose. 1, 2. I think before her, I used to chase a lot of checks, and that would get me in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like I needed to make ends meet, and I would do business with people I had no business doing business with. But I needed the bread. When she came along, I still needed the bread, but I stopped devaluing myself, 1, and 2, I stopped putting myself in like dangerous situations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times in music, you deal with artists who come from a certain thing. You know what I'm saying? And when things don't go right, it reverts to something completely different. So yeah, I think that she made me make like smarter choices and pick who I did business with. And she also taught me to like, I used to be of the mindset like I could work with an asshole as long as he does his job.
Yeah.
I'm at the point in my life now where like I don't want to work with an asshole and I don't want to work with someone who don't do their job. So I got to find one who's not. You know what I'm saying? Like now I got to find a good dude who's not an asshole and does his job. You know, so like I used to settle for that and it would get me in trouble and now I don't. So like I think that for sure has like been a big difference. Like when you deal with people that you like.
Well, that's definitely a blessing right there.
I was gonna say, I must say, shout out to us that don't have no kids. Like,
bro, I would not trade my daughter for nothing, but goddamn, you are a lucky human being.
Yeah, man, yo, people don't understand it. Like, you know, cause bro, I'm always on the go. Like, even being where I'm at, like, I'm still going to Georgia, I'm going to Florida, I'm going to Alabama, going to Connecticut, going to DC. Like, I'm always on the go, and like. My mom was like, "Well, how are you able to do that?" And I'm like, "Yo, I have no kids. Like,
no kids.
I live
bro. With my mother's a built-in nanny, bro. Like, without my mom, like, I probably wouldn't still be full-time in music.
Wow.
You know, because I have my daughter full-time. You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah.
You know, so without her, I wouldn't be able to do this shit. Like, no way.
So real quick, I just want to touch on the nightlife situation. 2 questions. One, I want to know what was your favorite venue in the whole entire state of Connecticut? You can go back as far as you want to, and why was that your favorite venue? And 2, before you get there, just let us know like what made you jump into the nightlife promotions to get away from. Was it to get away from the music or just a next extra step in the ladder?
All right. Yeah, it was definitely an extra step in the ladder for me. You know, being in the clubs, I was able to, number one, book the DJs because I started out working with mainly DJs, but I used to do all the mixtape shit and like the radio stuff. So like, I wanted to be able to book gigs. So that and then learning how to become a booking agent was like my goal for the club stuff. And also, when I first got in the club stuff, the money was incredible. Like early on, you know, like I was throwing my first parties, and like these parties were like, you know, turning 10 grand a night, 8 grand a night, and there was no crazy overhead. It was so new. You know what I'm saying? So like, there was a lot of money in it at the time.
So when was it that you started promoting clubs?
As soon as I got a job at the radio station, because I started to manage and work with KG. And at the time, KG was like one of the bigger club DJs around Waterbury and shit. And he used to have this spot called Sports Rock in Bristol. And it was 700-800 people a week, bro, every Friday and Saturday for 3 or 4 years.
Insane.
Like, it was incredible. You know what I'm saying? So like, those were my first, I mean, I think my first party was like at El Dorado in Waterbury with KG.
Wow.
Like
that's
probably
not
like
even there no more. That building's not even there no more.
Nah. It was super long ago. Like, you know, but it was different. Like again, back then, like there wasn't as many venues. So the ones that were popping.
Yeah.
So like the bread wasn't spread thin. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't 50, 60 promoters. There was 10, 12, 15 guys.
Yeah.
You know, and if you were a part of that, like you made bread and you only needed one or two, like one spot to make bread. You didn't have to do 4 parties a week.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
It's crazy because
you know, it was
not to cut you off, but I was telling Diddy, I was like, yo, Chris really like he's really been in every freaking aspect. Cause I remember when we first brought Big Mike to Waterbury, from what we could remember, our era of Mike coming into the clubs in 2009. And like I tried to reach out to him on my own and I never was to get him, but then I'm like, yo, I'm gonna ask Chris, and then I asked you, and you got him, and I'm like, yo, see, this is the guy, man.
I think, and that's why I was, because you gotta understand, I was young. Like even with Mook and Fair,
yeah, you were really
Chris.
young, bro.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying, even with Mook and Fair, I would hear Chris. Even when we was club promoting, it's Chris. So now we middleman and everything. I'm like, call Chris. I'm like, all right, so Chris, and that's why when I made music,
it was fun. But yeah, it was for me at that time. It was so synonymous with like and artists at that time used to also break in a club like a lot. Like you don't break in the club as much anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like you still can and it happens, but back then, like, yo, the labels, you know, used to come to Hartford and New Haven and they would come to the clubs.
That's
They
crazy.
wasn't going to the radio station. They wasn't going, like, they would pop up in downtown Hartford and hit 5 clubs in a night, like some A&Rs and some promotion guys. Like, they used to go to the club. So it was important to be in the club at that time. And again, too, you know, no social media really per se. So it's like, in order to fuck with people, you had to go fuck with people.
Yeah.
And in order to get people to come to your parties, like, you had to go party with them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's what we did, and bro, that's why I say we learned a lot from you, and I thank you, and I appreciate it all, man.
For sure.
Honestly, like, bro, we took bits and pieces from everybody when we were starting DOE. Like, bro, we were on the streets with flyers, something crazy.
Bro,
yeah.
I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you that part of my life. Like,
yeah,
it's like a flash. It just
like,
this
bro.
shit happened. You spent. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I used to see you guys out there. I would come out of this joint and like the early parties, bro, like at Creola and like, you know, you guys were always on a ranch page. But that again, too, like you guys were also a part of the era that like caught the back end of like that real street shit and transition. Like when I say street shit, I mean like promotion and transition into the digital part. So, you know, like Big Mike, he's super successful, bro, because that man is still driving around selling tickets. Like he's still at bodegas, he's still at barbershops, he's still at record stores. Like that's why he still wins, because he uses it all. And even that was my thing with music is like, you got to do radio and street and club and digital and everything kind of like in a line, because one without the other leaves too many gaps. You know what I'm saying? So like you would do the same. Like I remember you were one of the first guys to sell like local tickets online, right? Like, and then also we're running around Waterbury hand in hand, and then also had them in stores, you know? So it was, you guys came at a good time.
It was not worth it. I learned that lesson. It was not worth it, bro. Bro, the tickets were so big of a headache, man. And like, yo, while you were talking and you were talking about Mike, man, I just wanted to say, man, shout out to Big Mike, man, because honestly, like, he has paved a crazy way. And like, I know, to me, what it seems like with Mike early on in his career, he didn't have a good relationship with Connecticut. Then he got a good relationship. And then, you know, it kind of dwindled down a little bit. But now, like, ever since he really elevated and scaled what he was doing, bro, it's just like, it's undeniable, man. And I really appreciate Mike, because we even had a little spat at one time, and I had to apologize to him, man to man, like, yo, bro, I'm sorry for how that went down. It wasn't supposed to go down like that. And he understood, and you know, we kind of moved forward from it, because Mike is a genuine dude, bro. People don't understand.
He's great. Mike is great. He gets a lot of the same, like, you know, hate that I do per se. You know, like, you know, a lot, any of the dudes, and not just me and Mike, but like any of the guys really who can like make a difference in the state. Like some people love and some people don't. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's a love-hate relationship with all that. You know, even like when I was coming up, bro, like, you know, there was certain people that I just despised because they didn't mess with me. You know what I'm saying? And then there was others that did, and I loved them. You know, so
facts. One other so
best club, the best club. Hold on, I gotta give you my best club.
Your what?
Best club.
Oh, your best club. Yeah.
That's, yo, you know what though? It's such a hard one.
And why?
That's really a hard one. Like, the best venue Connecticut has ever seen has been Sin City.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I'm saying venue, and I'm not saying there hasn't been like legendary ass parties, because some of my best were there. But best venue, hands down, take away whoever ran the party, whoever owned it, whatever, nothing was even close. That place made us look, bro, artist Diddy came there and was like, yo, what the fuck?
What's going on in Connecticut? Yeah, I remember.
So that venue is incredible, the best that's ever been in Connecticut. if I had to pick like my favorite spot ever, it was probably in Hartford. It was either Borrow No Name or Envy. And in New Haven, it was probably Oracle.
Oracle. Ah, man, I miss those
like,
days.
Yeah, like early Emerald City, like on the other side of the bridge. Like there's some classic shit out here, but yeah, Sin City, like venue wise, was just like it wasn't supposed to be here.
Do you remember?
Nah,
do you remember
I'm surprised it lasts that long.
Do you remember
Huh?
Do you remember Phil Steak and Lobster?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I just
Bro,
remember
there was a spot.
There's raves going on there.
There was a spot in Norwalk, bro, named Razzles. You guys are definitely too young for this. TY, you may have heard of it. But yo, it was in Norwalk. It was the most incredible club. Flex, Big Cap, Fat Man Scoop had residencies there.
Wow.
Bro, it was Billy Bush was like there all the time too, because he was from there. Kid Capri was there once a month. It was like New York City used to be there. It was so crazy, bro. Like 1,000 people every time they opened the doors. It was one of the most incredible spots. But that shit stopped like in like 96, 7, like 8 maybe. But that place was incredible. But you guys ever heard of a spot called The Sting in New Britain?
The Sting. Nah, I never heard of that.
It was a performance venue. It was like, think of Webster Theater, just one level. It was 2,500 person capacity. It was a huge venue. It was in New Britain, right off Corbin Avenue. They used to have Wu-Tang, all the biggest shows there. They were like the best venue, and that's where Keith Murray smashed that dude over the back and the girl and went to jail in Connecticut.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And they shut that shit down like 6 months later, bro. It was one of the best venues in Connecticut.
That's crazy, bro. That's wild. I think my favorite, Diddy, you could give your favorite. My favorite venue, definitely my favorite venue owners is Jim and Joe at Sin City.
Yeah, they're the best.
Yeah,
they're the best.
I can't really. I mean, I can't really go. I mean, I don't know. I started club promoting when I was like young, and every venue that we've been to, and then like even on in my adult life, like, you know what I mean. It's just, yeah, Sin City, man. Yeah. I've been to Miami. I've been to LA. I've been to, dude. It's Sin City. I mean, my heart is there, bro. And honestly, like, they built something, you know, it really wasn't supposed to be here.
And that's the best about the owners, bro. Like, if you were good there, you were a fucking superstar.
Yeah, T.O.
Like, in and out the office, whatever you needed, Jim and Joe, like, all right, cool, you need that? Boom, we're going to talk about this shit later, but you're going to look good right now.
Bro,
boom. Like,
and not only that, bro, like, as far as the business goes and how to, like, really, you know, really cater to customers, like, they really
a couple of young dudes, they were our age, bro.
Shout out to Jimmy Joe, man. Especially my boy Joe,
my age. But it's like some dudes, even you, it's like these dudes that are 5, 6, 7 years older than me own $1 million club and really run a business. Yo, listen, them dudes were kids teaching grown-ass other adults and grown, like, human beings on the other side of town how to run a bar. Bro, bars used to call them and be like, yo, how do you make money off your liquor? Because everyone would always lose so much money. And they were so good at it, bro. They were so good at it. And a perfect match of yin and yang. Like, the two of them, like, were so different.
Yeah, yo, like, complete. Joe was definitely more into the modern world. I felt like Jim was just, you know, Italian, like
classic.
It was like just so like classic. Like so I like, you know what I mean, soap opera, like what Italian is. That was Jim, like, you know what I'm saying, like suit every night. You know, he's looking like.
Yeah, nice. So it's definitely been good, bro. We appreciate you tuning in. Before we end, I just got like some little rapid fire we do. I'm gonna say a person, a name, or a thing, and you just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind about it. But anybody that's watching this, if you're watching this, you know, Make sure you like, share, comment, man. Spread the word. Tell your friends. My friends and me,
Yeah.
my brother JayR. We're here with Chris Fury. So
Yes,
I'm
sir. And if you
a
have somebody in mind too that you know that we could bring as a guest that you want to touch a specific topic as well, make sure you reach out because this
Oh
is
yeah,
for the people.
I
You know what
got
I'm
y'all.
saying?
I'm
For
gonna
sure,
plug
man.
y'all with some people too to fuck with. Some of these other cats to mess with.
bro.
I
What
appreciate it for real,
main
man.
we're trying to do, bro, is literally give information, but valuable information with
Oh
you know
yeah, I got you then.
with
I'm gonna
it.
plug you with a bunch of guys who got nothing but info.
Facts.
My
Words.
guy.
So I'm gonna ask you a few things. You tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Ned Lamont.
Dickhead.
Mm.
I don't like him, bro, at all. Nothing about him. I'm not a fan of him for nothing he's doing. And like,
All right,
I
good.
was trying to be, listen to me, when he got elected, I was trying to be optimistic. Like I really, really was. And like, I can't.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, Mook and Fear.
Oh man. Most talented duo of two people I've ever worked with.
That's crazy. I'll give you this one easily. Your greatest tour experience.
Oh, there's so fucking many of them, dude.
Which one could you like? Which
Just comes right off the top, like
Yeah.
right now, like just comes to your head, like greatest moment.
who
Like,
were you with on tour? You don't even gotta tell us the whole experience. Like, who was it with?
Oh,
You
that
can hear?
you broke up real quick. You broke up
Oh
real
nah,
quick.
I said it doesn't have like who were you with on tour? Like, who was your greatest tour experience with? Like, which artist?
My greatest experience with artists, I would say, would be with Webby or with Paul Wall. Working with Paul Wall was like amazing. He was truly like the people's champ for real. Like that dude was like incredible, like an incredible family man. Like brought his wife everywhere. Never messed with another female on the road. Like, like
Yeah,
big
he was an
respect to
incredible
Paul
human
Wall,
being.
baby.
And during that time, bro, like when I tell you for like an 18-month period, that dude was bigger than anybody in rap. We were doing shows. I was on a road with him like 340 days out of like 410 days. Right. So, he would do a show on a Friday. We would private jet. Say he did a show in like Chicago. He'd private jet back down to Houston and meet Venus and Serena Williams, sell them a fucking grill, and then fly to St. Louis for the show that same
Yeah.
day. Like,
Paul Wall.
Savage, yo, he was beast mode, yo.
Illest, bro. I'm telling you.
like it was really crazy, and he was on every record. Like he would grill everybody, so it was like that was incredible.
That's dope, man. That's a fire.
And then besides
Thank you
that,
for sharing that with us.
Webby's fans are like the best fans on earth. They're so dedicated. They're so wrapped up in him. They're so all about him. The experiences with his fans are like nothing I've ever seen before. Nothing I've ever experienced.
Webby strikes me as that kind of artist, though, that would bring that out of his fans. You know what I mean?
They're
very
so
vulnerable
invested in him.
dude, very humble.
Yeah,
that I get from his music. I've never met him, but I give him a lot of respect because his music, bro, is truly like it's heartfelt, and that's like
it is. And it speaks to a very specific audience, and within that audience,
for
bro,
sure,
he is God to them. So just the song, it was I don't know if you guys seen these pictures I posted on Instagram. We were in Sweden, right? Kerr, Switzerland. Okay. Small little like city village, about 50,000 people. It's like an hour from Zurich. Webb's in the middle of his performance, and this kid busted out a state of Connecticut flag.
I've seen that. That's a fire picture. That's a fire picture.
Squires killed it. He got like 3 incredible pictures. But this kid all the way from Sweden, he had ordered a flag because he loved Webb and he loves Connecticut. So the dudes in the crowd, boom, with the Connecticut flag, we're all like, yo, this is crazy. We're in fucking Switzerland and they love Connecticut. Mind you, So we link with them, take a bunch of pictures. They're super fucking cool. Yo, do you know that they popped up at the Black Friday show this year?
No way.
Bro, they flew from Switzerland to Connecticut to the Black
Crazy.
Friday show.
Crazy.
Webby his GOAT status, man.
Bro, like that shit's incredible. There's this other kid. It was just all on Twitter. He's been a fan of Webb for like 10 years. He's been to like 8 shows in 7 different states. So him and his girlfriend for like 8 years have been picking one show per year and flying out, starting when they were like 19 years old. That kid is super close with every single person in our crew. We let him come like VIP, all that, every show. He was just leaving. He joined the United States Space Force, that new program.
Oh, okay, word.
So
dope.
The dude goes on Twitter and writes like a 10-page heartfelt message to Webb and the whole team. And he broke down the whole team and like what we've meant to him. And like, bro, he showed his whole merch selection. He's got merch dating back from 2010. He's probably got close to 75 items from Chris.
Bro,
like that's
crazy.
the type of fan shit, dude. It's incredible. So like experiencing tour with Webb has been like some of the best shit of my life, just because of the fans.
Yeah, nah, like Webb, he's transcended so many different markets, and it's crazy because I think about it like this. I know myself, my favorite group of all time is Mumford and Sons, right?
Yep.
And that's the only group that I will literally travel to the UK to watch, or wherever they're at. Like they could be wherever. If I'm able to go, like I'm trying to go. You know what I mean? I only got to see them twice, but that's like, so I know what it means to be like, to be a fan of an artist or a group like that, where you're willing to travel across country just to watch them perform. You know what I mean? It's crazy, bro.
It's crazy.
It's dope.
So
yeah, man. But I had 2 more rapid fire questions before we go. Angie Martinez.
One of the best to ever do it.
Facts. I'll give you that. You can leave it right there. And Sir Donald Trump.
Fuck.
All right. I want to know your perspective on this one.
We're gonna keep it short though.
No, yeah. All right. So like, listen, I like some of the things he's doing, right? On some levels. I like the fact that he's not the normal puppet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that he's very much like a lot of people, where he says what he means. You know what I'm saying? But
sure.
Again, I'm at the point in my life where shitty human beings get no fucking play in my handbook.
Absolutely,
it's true.
Like, and again, like, whatever. Again, I love some shit Obama did, and I dislike some shit Obama did. But I always felt he was a good fucking human being, and that stood for something for me. For a lot of people, it doesn't stand for nothing, because everyone has that mindset where, like, as long as he's doing what he's supposed to do, but like, I'm not a fan of shitty human beings, at all. And at one point, I think not that I was, it just didn't bother me. Now shitty human beings bother me. So that's my problem with Trump, is that no matter how much good he does, I still know he's a shitty human being, and that sucks.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nah, man. That's this definitely has been great, man. Like I said, I appreciate it, man. Make sure you plug us, man, with some people. We're just starting, and this podcast is just a small inch. Like, we had a festival that was planned for May 2nd. We had a bunch of different Connecticut artists, and we had some other ones too, like Corey, hood celebrity. Like, we had a few other people that we were looking to put into the mix. We kind of had to put everything on hold with COVID. So hopefully pretty soon we could link up in our studio and really, sit down and dig deep more into it. There's a lot of stuff we could talk about that we didn't even touch the base on. So
for sure. There's we have there's a lot that we want to really touch base on, and what we want to do is we want to continue to provide that information to people, like, and that's kind of like a lot of, you getting you up here, being the guy with all, being knowledgeable with everything that you know. I think you're somebody that's very um well level-headed and very successful in what he's done. And I think people need to start admiring those people that come from our state. You know, I think there's a lot of people that's known in our state for very um very delusional things that they may consider in one part of the area that's something that's great or holds weight. But me personally, the way you feel as though you don't like shitty people, I think I really don't care for those people. And I want people to start waking up and admiring the real people around them that's actually putting in the work and setting the right example for these young dudes, and even the ones that are making music. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, it goes for everybody. Even listen, Snowsa was the latest. She like did her thing and made a mark and did some incredible shit, and people tried to drag her for it, and it's like that shit just got to kind of come to a halt. And I know it's asking for a lot, and I know shit may never change, but like the only thing that can make us stand out because we're so small is supporting something. And I'm not even talking about like actual fans. Fans are going to support what they want to support. Fans love who they love. I'm just talking about like us. The people, the powers that be, the people in the circles, the people that we've all known for all these years. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I feel like within us needs more work than like the actual consumer of Connecticut is here. They're
no, for sure.
They're here.
Sure. And that is a very important thing, because I think people need to understand that nothing's going to change until we change. And that's just, majority of what it comes down to. You know what I mean? And this goes way beyond anything that has to do with music or, being a politician or just being involved, whatever you might be in. It's human nature that we are supposed to come together and just, really express ourselves and help one another,
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. TY, bro. TY, you keep fighting a good fight, man. What you have done is pretty fucking incredible. I'm not gonna front. I can't even, just like the transition to like what you did last year, running and all of that, bro. Like I never, ever in a million years thought. And even when you told me, I still didn't believe you. And like what you did and the support you garnered, bro, it was incredible, dude. Like that's some it's some real like some shit that you could write a book about in 20 years.
Yeah, I really could, man. Yo, first I gotta say shout out to my team, bro, because I thank God I was able to put together one of the craziest teams ever.
Bro, y'all went so hard. And you used some of that street promotion in the campaign. It was
yes.
so fire.
We didn't. Listen.
It was a blessing.
Didn't go too far away from.
That is to be continued, man. But that was great, man, and I appreciate that, because we're always still involved in our city. We're not letting that up. We're not keeping that pressure off.
No, I see you. I see you. You've become a great politician on Facebook. I'm still not a good politician. You've become a great politician on Facebook, my friend.
Bro, listen, bro. I'll put a post up and let people just talk crazy and then just disappear.
I can't. That's my problem. I don't be disappearing. I get in trouble.
Bro, you just got to disappear, bro. And like I said, man, next time we'll get more into it. But yo, for real, bro, keep dropping the knowledge on people and keep just doing, what you feel as though is right to push the state forward, yo. I appreciate everything you do, bro. Man. A lot of people be like, man, Chris this, Chris that. Like I always tell people, you can ask anybody, JayR could vouch for this. Like I always tell people, yo, I don't think there's nothing wrong with working with Chris. It's the level you work with him on, how you work with him, how you treat him is how you're going to be treated. Same thing, So like, there's just a lot of things we could go into, but I just appreciate everything you do, bro. For real, all the help you've been, all the connections you've made for me, myself, for my team, for us to be able to eat, man. I just appreciate it, man. For real.
Nah, for sure.
No doubt, man. Thanks for having me, y'all. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir, man. You stay blessed, brother.
All right, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
Okay, so that was, the first interview that we had here. That's our first special guest, I should say, on the My Friends and Me podcast. Nothing but valuable moments, you know, always blessings with Chris and his team and everything that he has going on. Just an insight on, you know, the work that he's put in. And a lot of you wouldn't even know that he's done all that. You know what I'm saying? So just when you think you went to a certain level of putting in the work and grinding, here it is. You know, there's always something else that you can be doing. Um, you know, and this is what we want to continue to do: provide information, get the knowledge out there. And like I said, don't be afraid to get involved. You know, me and TY, we've been friends for so long, man. We've yo, it's so crazy what things.
Yo, you want me to tell you what's crazy though? I'm just looking at it. That's 95 minutes.
Yo, when the top, listen,
Man,
when
so
it's
like,
when it's organic like that, we can't really put a
man.
number on it, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I hope everyone like, share this, comment. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop like, we're not gonna go into our normal guilty pleasure songs today. I'm gonna just play this Bennett song because I love it so much, and
Yeah,
that's
and I want to hear some more of her too. So let's definitely do that.
I'm gonna throw her up in the stream. I'm gonna let her rock, and me and JR are out, and
Yes,
we will
sir.
holler at you guys later.
God bless. Stay